Joe Biden flipped out when he was asked about doing a cognitive test. Watch this.
Mr. Vice President, your opponent in this election, President Trump, has made your mental state a campaign topic. And when asked in June if you'd been tested for cognitive decline, you've responded that you're constantly tested in effect because you're in situations like this on the campaign trail. But please clarify specifically, have you taken a cognitive test?
No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say to President Trump, who brags about his test and makes your mental state an issue for voters?
Well, if he can't figure out the difference between an elephant and a lion, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Did you watch that? Look, come on, man. I know you're trying to goad me, but I mean, I'm so forward looking to have an opportunity to sit with the president or stand with the president in debates. There's going to be plenty of time. And by the way, as I joke with him, I shouldn't say it. I'm going to say something I probably shouldn't say. Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness, and to make a judgment about who I am.
Oh, Joe. I still am deeply of the belief that if he just hides, he'll win. So go back in the basement, bro. I don't know why you're like, you don't even need to come out and do interviews. Like, maybe you could do one a week. Maybe. But you don't need to. You don't need to. And everybody's gonna bitch anyway. Like, the Republicans are gonna come after you for it anyway. But it doesn't matter what you do, they're gonna come after you. So why not do whatever the correct strategy is? And the correct strategy is hide, dog. Just hide. Like, I don't get, you don't need to do this. You don't need to keep coming out. Just hide. I don't get it. What? And just so everybody understands, his team has been relatively intelligent on this front. They have been hiding him a decent amount. But I guess that, they feel like we got to do some stuff, right? So there, more and more examples of him popping out here. But every time he comes out, there's some moment that, goes viral, and it's not really for the best reasons. Now, having said that, I don't think this is as bad as people are making it out to be. Like, there's, this is kind of blowing up, and it's blowing up in left circles too. And everybody's like, here we go again. But, yeah. I mean, I guess the main criticism in my mind is that Joe's offended by this, and it's actually a little ridiculous to be offended by that question, because everybody knows he's been struggling recently. It's not a secret. So if you're offended at the idea of taking some sort of cognitive ability test, it's like, you know what, man? Who are you kidding? Like who are you? Why are you pretending? It's not an absurd question. It's actually a perfectly reasonable thing. So yes, that's a good criticism, I think. But in terms of his reaction, I feel like any normal person would react like that if you're asking them if they're cognitively there. Like, anybody would be like, fuck off, of course I am. Anybody would react like that. So it is almost like a totally normal reaction. And his angered response back was like that, come on, that's not a nice question. That's a dumb question. And how would you like it if I asked you to take a test? And he just so happened to ask the black guy if he'd take a test for cocaine and ask him if he's a junkie. Now, people might read into that and say, hey, you're asking a black dude if he's done cocaine and if he's a junkie. You're the author of the crime bill, might want to reel it in a little bit there. But I don't know. I haven't really seen that reaction per se. I've just seen people being like, whoa, like this is a moment here. But I actually kind of like the thing that he said about Trump with the cognitive test. He said, if he can't tell the difference between an elephant and a lion. Like, it's true. Trump was bragging about that test. And it's like, what are you bragging about? Chris Wallace was like making fun of him. He's like, the questions were super easy. Like, what do you mean? And I said the same thing about Biden. Like, the test that Trump took, if Biden took that test, he'd do fine on it. It's not that he wouldn't be do okay on that test. It's just that he's slower now than he was. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the issue, is that he's slower now. And I also secretly kind of enjoy when he says, I'm going to say something I shouldn't say. I actually enjoy that. I'm going to start doing that now, too. Be on the brink of saying something terrible. You know, I'm going to say something I shouldn't say. I'm just going to be quiet now. That actually is pretty funny to me. But yeah, I guess the overall point here is that I don't think this instance is as bad as a lot of people are making it out to be. But if anybody actually shouldn't get offended by such a question, it's Joe Biden. Like, you know you're struggling, dude. Come on. You have to know you're struggling. But again, any normal person would respond offended if they really think that they're totally fine. So, I mean, I guess there's a small chance Joe really thinks he's totally fine, but at least everybody around him knows, like, you're fading, dog. You are sundowning. That's for damn sure. But there you have it. And I expect many more moments similar to this leading up to the election.